A question that arises in the human mind is it our mind that has control over our thoughts, or is it the heart that thinks, understands, and controls our thoughts? This question seems easy to listen to, but it is so complicated. Today, we have been given knowledge about how it is possible that our heart also thinks, understands, and makes decisions on things. Whereas earlier, it was thought that it is only the brain that thinks, understands, and makes decisions. When it was scientifically proved, it shocked cardiologists and neurologists. How is it possible that our heart also thinks and understands? What is even more surprising is that the ancient Bible is already informing us about it. In today's video, we will know how it is possible that our heart also thinks, understands, and makes decisions. How does the Holy Quran define it? Before knowing that, we will see how science proves that our heart also thinks and understands. Before today, if you go back to 1,000 years, humans had to think that it is only our brain that thinks, understands, and gives us the message to process our body. But we were wrong somewhere. If we look at it, we were right because at that time we did not have that much knowledge and scientifically things were not proved. How is it possible and what role can the heart play in it that it also thinks and understands whereas we have the brain? But when all these things were proved today, we are surprised at how our heart also thinks and understands. Let us know under what process the human heart works. According to modern science, our heart is not just a pumping organ. That is, it does not just pump blood into the body, but it also thinks, understands, and makes decisions. There are neurons in it, and these are the same neurons that are also present in our brain. Science says that 40,000 neurons are present in our heart, which have the ability to think and understand. There are some scientists who call it the heart brain. An experiment was done at Stanford University, and it was seen in this experiment that our heart does action before our brain. It already plans how to react. That is, the heart makes some decisions first, and then our brain gives it answers. It is so amazing that today, science is telling us that our heart is not just a pumping organ. It is not just pumping blood into our body, but it is doing many other important things, which we used to think and understand that only our brain does. If you study the Quran, then after reading the Quran, a person is amazed at how Allah Almighty connects the ability to think and understand with the heart, not with the brain. And that verse of the Quran where Allah Almighty says, "They have a heart, but they do not understand." If you look at the verse of the Quran, then Allah Almighty is connecting the ability to understand with the heart. That is, the consciousness that Allah Almighty gave to man, its connection is with the heart. That is, the heart has the ability to understand. It is so amazing that science told us today, and the Quran was telling us 1400 years ago. But not only that, but after that, the amazing evidence that will come in front of you, you will be even more amazed to hear them, that Allah Almighty explained everything in the Quran and properly guided it, that how man thinks and understands. Allah Almighty is saying further in the Quran, "So their eyes do not become blind, but it is their hearts that become blind." This verse of the Quran proves that the real blindness is not of the eyes of man but of the heart of man. When the heart loses the ability to think and understand, the mind of man cannot differentiate between good and evil. This is being told to illustrate how your heart processes information. When it becomes blind and falls into sin, it loses the ability to understand what is right. You might be surprised, but these things are being scientifically proven. Modern science tells us about a unique connection, saying that your heart communicates with your mind, affecting your emotions and feelings. Not only this, but there is a vagus nerve in your body which works as a communication link between your heart and mind. What's even more surprising is that 80% of the signals your heart sends go to your mind, while your mind sends only 20% of the signals to your heart. After seeing this research, one becomes even more surprised and is forced to think about the heart, which we used to consider just a pumping organ. That heart is doing so much more work. In fact, your heart does more work than your mind. This was further explained in 1991 by Canadian scientist Dr. Armour. Now if you look at this Hadith Mubarakah, it contains two facts, one scientific and the other spiritual. Scientifically, good habits and positive thinking keep your body relaxed, meaning you will always be happy and your heart will remain healthy. On the spiritual side, the mention of Allah on the heart has an effect. As we saw, the heart generates a magnetic field. When you mention Allah, waves are generated throughout your body, bringing peace. That is why Allah says in the Quran that surely Allah's mention gives peace to your hearts. This peace keeps you at ease. Allah says in Surah Araf, "They have hearts, but they do not understand. They have eyes, but they do not see. They have ears, but they do not hear." As you know, your heart has neurons with the ability to think and understand. This verse of the Quran, "They have hearts but they do not understand," proves that there is a significant difference in communication between their heart and mind. When their heart loses the ability to understand, their mind also stops. Remember, if your heart is right, your thinking and understanding will also be right, leading to a better life. About this video, express your opinion. Did you find this video informative? Is it really so that our heart thinks, understands, and makes decisions, as the Quran narrated 1400 years ago?